A new dawn in Beijing, the ancient capital of the world's fastest growing country. Home to the 2008 Olympics. It's the vibrant center of a superpower, where the old wrestles with the new. Communism clashes with capitalism, and a new global economy is born, swallowing all in its path. But one thing about its people never changes. Chinese love their food, and now with their newfound wealth, they're indulging their stomachs more than ever. As a child, I'd grown up with the food of southern China, where my father was born. But on my first visit to Beijing 18 years ago, I realized that I'd been missing out. Today, the food here is as varied as it is plentiful. Traditional or modern, Chinese or Western, China's capital caters to all tastes and needs. That's a lot of rich food, and an awful lot of calories too. As China's economy has exploded, so has its waistlines, and today 200 million Chinese are listed as being clinically obese. That's because of changing dietary habits. In many ways, the story of how food has changed here is the story of China in the last 2 decades. So we're going to start our journey in Beijing's streets to see how it all happened. My first stop is Wangfujing, the biggest night market in Beijing, right next to Tiananmen Square. This is a new government business development and tightly controlled by the police. But it's also one of the most popular tourist spots in the capital. And I'm here to meet Crazy Chef, a chef turned Beijing rapper who rose to fame with his song Chinese Food.
Hey, Crazy Chef, 你好，你好，Tony 怎么样？准备好了吗？准备好了。哎，Tony 给你带来一个新的东西。这个东西见过吗？这叫蚕蛹，准备好尝。
And here comes my first treat, silkworm cocoons.
别想，吃。Okay.
It's kind of very soft in the middle. The shell's quite tough, but it's actually not bad at all.
As if silk cocoon isn't enough to whet my appetite, we move on to seahorses.
这个为什么吃这个？
这个对身体有好处，因为它是药材的一种。
有什么好处？
舒筋活血。
那是不是给男人吃这个？
对，
但是他说普通话说的挺好的。
要辣椒。
干净的些。
That is pretty good.
怎么样感觉？
这真不错。
像薯条。
对，
你要不要再来一个？
不用，一个就够了。
The food here is definitely not for the faint-hearted or the healthy. Deep-fried starfish, deep-fried swallow spit, and certain parts of an animal, which I thought I'd never eat.
I think there are some things I won't do, particularly not on TV.
For dessert, we settle on a plate of deep-fried ice cream, thought by many people to be a traditional Chinese dish. While the ice cream actually doesn't taste that bad, I can't help feeling like a bit of a culinary tourist.
Crazy Chef, 这个是真正的中国菜吗？不是，
当然不是。
Well, it's been an interesting evening with Crazy Chef. And we've been eating a lot of bizarre things. It says a lot about modern China, an ancient civilization going global. In the old Beijing, street life and street food were inextricably linked to the narrow alleyways unique to the city, known as hutong, where snacks used to be sold on mobile trolleys. Today, as most of the hutongs here have been demolished to make way for new skyscrapers, and food vendors kept off the streets to keep the city looking tidy, it's hard to find anything of the past, except in one of Beijing's tourist areas.
German Snacks is a collection of traditional Beijing street stalls, many of which have been around for generations, and they've come together in recent years underneath one roof in this traditional Chinese courtyard.
Walking inside the courtyard is like going back in time. Here you can find all the old favourites that Beijing streets had to offer. Rice cakes, intestines, fermented soy milk, stuff that people don't normally eat today.
这个小店是卖什么？
这小店是卖牛羊的肚子。
做这种生意你是第几代？
我是第3代了。在我父亲那一代呢，就在宣统年间了，自己摆一个摊儿，爆肚摊儿。那时候卖爆肚，因为跟宫廷里的太监呐经常接触，然后介绍我们到给宫廷里头御膳房送这牛羊肚。啊，这个皇上啊，各个嫔妃啊，他们也品尝这个，拿筷子给你和了匀了。
Well, Mr. Fang's just told me there's a sauce that goes with this, which is the principal ingredients are garlic, a sort of sesame paste, and soy sauce. So let's give this a try. That's really good.
And on to the next.
哎，你好，那这是什么东西？
牛蹄筋儿，牛蹄子上面那根筋，这是一个品种，但是2种味道，放在这个火烧里，给它夹在里头。啊，有点中国汉堡。
这是中国汉堡。
中国汉堡。
那这个你的小店，你是第几代？
我是第6代传人。
第6代。
对，第6代传人。
哇，你
这是第7代传人啊。月盛斋，从到现在的话，234年的，有皇上的时候，这个东西是进贡的东西。那时候，这一天有白天卖的东西，有晚上卖的东西，品种很多。现在要说起来的话呀，有些东西就都失传了。
In China, the decline of traditional street food has a political reason as well as an economic one. 50 years of communism means that all private businesses were closed down during the Mao years and street food taken off the streets. But no one here wants to tell me this on camera, as the Chinese are still cautious about speaking to foreigners. Today, it takes a charismatic businessman to bring these families together again for a capitalist culinary experiment.
这道菜是北京的民间的最传统的小吃之一，叫驴打滚儿。
Hou Jia is the founder of Jiumen Snacks. 20 years ago, he was selling Western clothes in Beijing's first free market. Today, he's selling traditional Chinese street food and the culture that goes with it.
真正的北京小吃，就是咱们一个城市的一个 DNA， 它跟那个北京的胡同和一些古建筑，像故宫、颐和园一样，长城一样，是不可改变的东西。来到我们这个店，感受的呢，就是咱们原汁原味的市井文化，也叫草根文化。
Judging by the number of his customers, Hou Jia has been very successful in reviving a lost culture. Looking around me, though, I can't help feeling that this is museum food, far removed from the taste of modern China. Even Hou Jia admits he has some very big rivals.
我的孩子更多的认可的是，就是麦当劳、肯德基、星巴克，还有这些等等这些东西。我个人认为是一种文化的侵略。
Since China opened up for economic reform, it's also opened up to Western influences. As Western fashion and Western music have bombarded the Chinese market, a new generation of Chinese are growing up with Coca-Cola and Big Macs. The arrival of fast food in China answers the needs of millions of Chinese who live life in the fast lane. But while it's helped drive forward China's economy, experts fear that it's driving up the nation's cholesterol level too.
1 in 4 teenagers in big cities are overweight.